It's about 15 minutes south.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Village of Waterville regular meeting here at 6:02 p.m. on October 24th, 2023. Roll call, Jessica Cooch.
Schulte?
Here.
Schomburg? Here. Stanfield? Here. Walter? Here. Hitchcock?
Here. All here? Correct? Please stand, please stand, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Sandra. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Bam. Okay. Public hearing with Waterville Downtown Develop Authority, TIF Plan Amendment 2023. We'll open that to the public at 6:03 p.m. We have a motion from the council to open that up.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll open to the public. Anything you want to talk about, the public hearing with the Waterville Downtown Develop Authority with the TIF Plan Amendment 2023.
Dorothy Hart, NISA Board Chairperson. I have a couple of questions on the amendment as just clarification. Page 4 of 7, 16.1. The third line from the end of that paragraph, the date is 2023 through 21,024. I think it's just a typo.
I assume it's supposed to say 2024, not 2124.
And on page 5 of 7, does it matter if it's a farmer's field day or a fireman's field day? That's 16.3. Does it? Okay. I think that was all my questions, and I thank you for including NISA on this, and we look forward to it.
So the first one was typo?
Yeah.
And then, all right. Anybody else have any questions on the amendment that we have here for 2023?
There is another typo. On page 3 of 7, item number 9, under the Jeep takeover, I believe that's supposed to be 5,000, not 500, in order to make the net total correct at 310,000. Yeah?
Yep, I see it. Where's Rusty? We're finding him though.
Alright.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on that amendment? Okay, seeing none. I recommend to the council that we can close the public hearing on the Waterville Downtown Develop Authority Amendment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, any public comment on anything else?
Yeah, I just got a comment on the Apple Lane water main project.
Okay, which name, I'm sorry?
Mike Taylor.
Mike David?
Taylor.
Taylor, oh yeah, yep, I talked to Jason Spaxton today and Shane, we were there finishing up concrete, pouring into, locking up one of the old water leaks, right? Yeah, but go ahead, we're talking about blacktop next week, as long as the weather permits.
Well, the question I have is, I'm just curious, is there a state standard or county standard as why there was not a new curb shut-off valve? Or what is the plan on that, you know? I mean, normally when you have a new project, don't you put the village is responsible from the main to the curb shut-off, right? The curb stop valve? So was there a reason why there was no new curb stop valves installed?
That's just the way they engineered it.
Okay.
So if there's a bad one, we definitely wanna replace it.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, if we're doing this project, we're putting new water main in, wouldn't it be kind of like preventative maintenance to put in new curb stops, new valves for all of them? I mean,
Not necessarily, because like a lot of those are newer houses down to there. I mean, newer in respect to,
mine was built in '78.
yeah, I mean, that's for a shut-off valve. I mean, we've got shut-off valves that have been in the ground since.
They're brass with stainless steel.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty cool, like where they're.
Well, I get that, but doesn't the rust still stick to that? Because our pipes are, just the service line, you know, I looked at the pipe that they cut off, and it was basically an inch pipe down to about a half an inch with corrosion stuck inside the pipe, so I just assume if the pipes are that way, I would figure the shut-off valves would be that way. Am I not right? Am I not correct on that? I don't know, does it stick to brass like it does to the copper?
It pretty much sticks to everything. But yeah, I think it was a cost over benefit type thing.
I mean, I didn't know if it was in the bid to do that, you know, and it wasn't done.
No, it wasn't bid for new curb stops. And that's the way they had engineered it, so, and I think it was just a cost over benefit type thing as far as running new lines all the way up to the curb stop.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, the ones that are tied in across the road, we're utilizing that old pipe, and now if something happens with that old pipe, now we gotta dig up the new road that we're installing. I would have figured just all kind of be preventive maintenance, just do it all while we got everything tore up, but.
Well, they still only pressure test the water main, they don't pressure test it with the service lines on once it's.
So the original job was to replace all of the main water, come in and out of that road,
Change the water main, yeah.
changing the water main.
Yeah, we went from 4-inch to 8-inch.
Right. And then we hooked up to the original where they were
Yeah, what they did was,
usable.
like you've got short sides and long sides because of the way that the main's on one side of the new main's on the one side of the old water main. And then some of them are gonna be longer and some of them are gonna be shorter. What they just did is went down through there and connected it in, with a 3-part union. It's got new copper from the water main up to wherever they decided to hook it.
Right, they just do like, what kind of splice did they do there? I mean, I don't know what they use.
It's a 3-part union is what it is.
But anything under the road, everything's new under the road.
No,
Not to the houses.
no. Water main's all new.
Water main's new, but there would be a line that runs from that water main under the road, going to that person's house from the new water main.
Yep.
How did they look when you looked at it at that point? Because
They all had some corrosion in them, but with the flow and the pressure we had down through there, a lot of that's gonna clean out. You're gonna have red water for a while on and off, probably.
I know.
Because it's gonna clean out of that. those lines. And it's all, yeah.
But I mean, there's not gonna be enough pressure to clean all that out, though. I mean, that's the thing.
But I cut it off.
You'd be surprised, especially when you water hammer it. And we can go back through and water hammer it.
I'm good on that, because we already did that to our house one, the old stuff,
Where are you at?
it clogged everything, all horrible. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I know.
So you think some of this will break loose?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good, I mean,
I mean, I was just curious, to me, I just thought it'd be preventive maintenance, we're paying for it now, we're paying for everything, so why not just replace everything, and then the village isn't responsible for anything, that's left onto the homeowner from that shut off to the house if they wanna replace that line
Right.
because of corrosion and stuff. It's just, I don't know.
No, I
know
would've-
it was bid.
I would've liked to seen it replaced to the curb stops too, but that's not the way it was engineered, so that's not the way it was built.
I froze it because it shrinks when it dries out.
Oh, it's
I
true.
didn't want it to shrink, so I
They
froze
want the shrink or smell.
it. That's why it's cold.
I'm just curious,
That-
like I
you
said,
know
I
what,
asked
I
the
get
PA group,
The pipes in my
and
house.
he's like, I don't know why we're not doing it either, so I don't know if they're the ones that engineered it, or.
Yeah, well, PEA is the one that engineered it, but who you talk to is an inspector. is
Right.
actually one of the engineer, so. No, I assumed when they were doing it at first, I said, you guys don't have any SDR9, which is the plastic water line. They go, no, we're not doing
Yeah,
full
we're
replacements
8
for curb stops.
The
And
one that-
that was news to me, so, but when I went through the bid spec, that's what it said. They just connected.
Because now when that, if that curb stop does leak, is that the village, or is that the homeowner?
It's still news.
That's the village.
Is that the same case with the North Main Street project, where those surface lines were
No, those
replaced?
service lines were all changed, that was part of the MDOT project.
Okay, so it's just Apple Lane that,
Yeah.
So Main Street
Short
was,
ends
Main
instead.
Street was MDOT? Yes, that was MDOT funded?
Yeah.
I didn't. All right, that's all I have.
So with that, I mean, the 8 inch is definitely gonna give them more water flow, but that's amazing. There's no real way of,
Well, it gave us more flow, but we're on the new main now, our pressure didn't go up too much. I mean, I can still turn our shower on and still turn another faucet on, and it still kind of almost trickles out of the shower. It didn't increase it too much, I mean, it just did a little bit.
I'm on Kramer Road and over by Pardee, and if I'm in the shower, somebody flushes the toilet, it's not really that nice.
Oh, no, our pressure was, if, even if you turned the faucet on in your shower, it was a trickle that came out of the shower. I mean, we had zero pressure whatsoever. And I just,
Don't know what is it now, same?
maybe just a tad bit better, not a whole lot. I mean, we just pay a lot of money for water in this village, and I fear the quality and the pressure would be way better than what we pay. I know a lot of people pay less than what we pay in other villages. So I don't know, it's a lot of money.
Cause I was, Jason Sebastian's done a lot of these, and I don't know how much of that would come out, and that is underneath that road, right?
Yeah, it's the line coming from the water.
So if you turn around and we had, so that's the line that's before, right where our meter is, before it goes to your home, that's not your home line?
No, this is the piece that they cut out to hook it up to the new main. This is the main coming before the valve, before your curb shut off.
It's after the shut
And
off.
Jason said he's done it before, they just, they changed it on.
So is that like a state guideline, or is that just a practice, or?
That's just the way they engineered it.
And the guy that did it,
There's
he's
no standard as far
that
as
certified.
change the water line, you gotta change the curb stop.
Okay, I,
Unless it's a lead line, then that's a whole nother.
right,
Ball of wax, so.
right.
And what address you at, Mike?
400 Apple Lane.
400? Okay,
assuming
And
that,
I'm next door at 408.
go ahead, Sam.
assuming cost aside, logistically, would there even be time at this point to do that?
Not to get it, not to do that and get it repaved.
Okay, so it would have to be gravel or something over the winter until, okay.
Yeah, but to be honest, that gravel road before they dug up, when they first milled it and everything for a month, that road's better than it's been 10 years.
Oh, it's not even that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'd have known that, we'd asked you to do that 10 years ago. It's crazy.
Is there a reason why we don't treat for rust in the village? I mean,
Well,
you see what the pipes look like, I just didn't know if they're, I know when we moved in 15, I don't think the water quality was as bad as it was then as it is now. I just didn't know if you treated it back in 15 or not, I don't know.
we do purchase product too.
Well, see, the problem is that once the Flint water thing came along, they had to start treating with phosphates. And what the phosphates do is they're almost like a sealant to seal the lead and the copper, because as the water goes through it, it's real aggressive and it will leach the lead and copper out of the lines. So it's kind of a sealant, but what it also does is it sequesters the iron that's in the water against the walls of the pipe. So the iron is still there, it's not really treating for it. It's actually creating another problem, because what happens is it decreases your flow by
Right.
building up on the inside of the pipe.
Right.
So, the phosphate, I run the phosphate as low as I can, because I don't want it sequestering the walls of the pipes. But really, the only way to get the iron out of the water is an iron removal plant. And that's, I don't know, did you check into the cost of that iron removal plant? I know you were talking about it at one time.
It was like millions.
Millions, yeah.
But still, I mean, I get everybody's point, and I believe some of these questions, it'd be nice to have Jason Sebastian here, and if I knew up front what was going on, but, I mean, definitely don't wanna have you guys continue to have lines that are not gonna open up. Nobody wants to have low pressure or have the iron. I've seen the orange in mine the last few weeks, but you are pouring water out of the ground, and the only thing we have for filter system is a couple things that we drip in there when we did the water tower. It's all been cleaned. It gets cleaned every 2 years. You know, and we didn't get cleaned for 7 years, and there was 6,000 pounds of rust in it. Almost filled every pickup box, but it's all clean. It's got little propellers in there like a boat motor, and it all turns. It doesn't, so that's all been repaired and fixed through this Flint program that happened. But I am concerned, I wanna talk to Jason before we do blacktop it to see if there's something we can do with the lines before they come to your house, that we can even clean them before they get into your home. Like, I don't even know if that's possible, but,
You might wanna talk to Alan too.
I mean, your house is that way and his house is that, I want you to picture that before you do.
For how small of a street it is and how many homes are on there, there should be more than enough money in the water budget to cover the fact that
Was
this is a
there-
massive oversight.
Was there 14 houses? Probably, my guess. 12.
I mean,
So, and here's the other thing, and I'm no rocket scientist, and I'm not a plumber, but I had the basic fluid dynamics in my apprenticeship. And doubling the size of that pipe, just cut the amount of flow by 4. So if you double the size of the pipe, you quadruple the flow. So there's 4 times the flow available, but none of us have changed anything, so the flow is gonna stay exactly the same, which means it's all gonna be running slower through those pipes by a factor of 4. Okay, if you would've made the pipe half the size, it would've doubled the speed that it would have to go. So we're making it 4, or
8
twice
inches.
the size, by making it 8 inches, you just cut it by 4, the speed of the water, so
Yeah.
shit's gonna settle, I'm sorry.
That's true.
Things are gonna settle out of the water sooner rather than later. It's not gonna help us at all. It's gonna hurt if anything. But the thing is, because in my house, the 3/4 inch mains, I've taken them out, I made them so that I can take them out from end to end. So I got like a 30-foot that goes from the meter down to the other end of the house. I can take the entire section of pipe out, I take it out every year, take it out in the backyard and pull a rag through it to clean this. There's a hole, in a year, there's a hole the size of a pencil inside that pipe, 3/4 inch pipe.
And that's copper.
And because it has an affinity for copper, it sticks to copper. Now, from what I understand, that's why I just bought a ton of PEX. I got a garage full of PEX stuff. I'm gonna rip out all the copper in the house
Oh,
and put PEX in it. Because from what I understand, it does not stick to PEX. I don't know that, I'm not an engineer and I don't know that for fact, but that's what I'm being told by the experts.
okay, if you don't mind, this is Jason right here. I got you on speaker, Jason, I'm in my meeting. So what's going on with that? No, it's fine, I want to talk to you, because I can't answer these questions, but I'm looking at a 1-inch copper pipe, and you can only put a pencil through it, and what they want to know is how are we going to dissolve that and make their flow better for their homes, and we're wanting to know what we do with it.
I honestly don't have a good answer for you on that.
He's a
Brad.
contractor doing the work.
Shane would probably know if there's something that you put in water or a tool or.
So where we're at right now, if we turned around and got down to where they're close to their house, is there any way we can clean the pipes with something before that happens to get hooked to their home? I know it would.
They're already hooked to their homes.
Right, but we'd have to, the council and I were here talking about like stopping and getting that pipe fixed and repaired so it's completely cleaned through before it gets connected to the shut-off valve. I mean, I'm surprised that they don't have any water flow, and you go with the 8-inch main, which is gonna be slower volume. I get that, the volume's there, but it's not gonna move as fast, but their volume of water in their homes is not better.
Let me dig into that a little bit tonight in the morning, Brad, and I can get back with you or get with Shane.
Yep, okay.
See if we can come up with something.
And they understand if we did this and we only ended up with blacktop millings until spring for blacktop, I mean, we just don't wanna put a new blacktop in and just have them, they're right. I mean, there's no sense of blacktop over pipes that are not gonna get cleaned out. I don't know if there's, we'll have to stop and see what type of material we can do to get it so they can have more pressure, because not got no more pressure.
Okay,
Okay,
let me dig into this and we'll get with you tomorrow.
I appreciate the call, Jason, thank you.
Hey, no problem, thanks, Brad.
Well, I have one more question for Shane too.
Yep.
So, do you think that being a dead end pipe, do you think that the rust and stuff would settle in them pipes more than if it was tied into party and had a constant flow?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll settle more in those pipes because it's that high.
So how come we didn't tie into party using that county drain easement that goes across that guy's property? I know the guy wouldn't want us to go across his property, give us an easement, blah, 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 whatever. But there's a county drain that goes across there, so why couldn't, when they had that tore up, how come we just didn't tie in then with a water main to party?
And you got one too, Sam, or you're.
Yeah, all, really,
Yeah, there's-
all the dead ends in town have that problem.
There's a couple of them, and it's beyond our time that happened where they were gonna connect them and before my time did not get connected. Like where he's at the other end of
Oak Street,
Oak Street, which was gonna tie into the, not Apple Lane, but,
Elm, or no, Elm Court,
yeah, not Elm Court, over by.
Epley Court, thank you.
Epley Court.
But, I mean, just at the end, the guy, I know he wouldn't give an easement to go across his property, but if we already have, if there's already a county easement.
Yeah.
What, I mean, does the county not allow you to put a city water main in that easement? I don't know how, or you get a special
Probably
permit for
not.
that,
I mean,
or?
knowing the drain commission, I would say it'd probably be a hard no. for
Probably
them.
not, but that was.
Yeah.
The easiest thing that,
That was, yeah, it was a couple years ago, right?
what we got now is Jason Sebastian, he's the guy on that project. He'll figure out, but I'm sure he's ran into it before, he's gonna make some calls tomorrow and get back with Shane and I, and we'll figure this out. But if we can get it figured out to the point where we have to stop and pull it up and get them pipes cleaned before they come to the valves, before they go to your homes, and then, like you said, have blacktop millings until spring, we'll have a couple options, but I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, and we'll try to have this happen. The other thing is, eventually, you're right, we need a water plant to clean this, like Powell Water Treatment Plant has one, they have one up in, I wanna say North Branch, but West Branch, and there's another one, New Lorthrop's got one too, up in New Lothrop, Michigan, small town, they had to because they had smell on top of the iron. So, you got great water, we just have iron in it, we have nothing to remove it with, all you can do is use some type of, chlorine or something to try to dissolve it, make it.
Now, as a homeowner, can I dig my own new water service into the shut-off valve, or do I have to have a licensed plumber do that?
No, anybody can, I mean, it's your line from the shut off. The only thing that we ask is that somebody's there to make sure that it gets connected to our service.
No, yeah, I can't do that, right, I said no, if there was special,
No problem.
any type of thing, for a new main or new service.
That's the homeowners, they can, and the only problem with that is that's the way it's always been, that the homeowner can put in whatever they want to. Well, a lot of times they put in a
Wrong
line.
stuff, right,
And then, 20 years down the line, they got no water at all.
right, no, I'm gonna do my research, I'll
Yeah.
put in the right pipe, I just.
Yeah, that SDR9 it's like a PAX, so. That's what
Isn't that clearing out, and just like,
Oh,
it's just bomb, I mean,
Shane,
yeah.
Cause I've been working,
I'm on 80
I'm just perfect
that's
on this, but I think you said it before, is like, can't you guys, on dead ends, can't you guys put hydrants, and doesn't that help, so you flush out the,
Yeah, there's a hydrant on the end of it.
oh, is there? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yep.
Then that helps, doesn't it? Like when you guys flush it out. pull
Yeah,
some
and
out.
going from not flushing it at all to twice a year should help too.
Okay,
Because we try to do it in the spring, we do it in the fall.
yeah,
It's because it's just, it's a high iron content in the water.
We still have, we found how many shut-offs this year? I mean, we're still finding shut-offs, we got papers, we got maps. We had a company come in and help us have it like digitized, where it pulls up on a screen now, where we can see where all our shut-offs and how our water runs. For a long time, we had little crayon maps made by Chris, guys drawing pictures on where it was at. So we're getting that, but so Jason's we'll get with you guys, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can see what we can do on this.
See, another thing that's been bugging me is I keep hearing the term pressure used.
Pressure use?
Pressure, people keep saying we want more pressure. I don't care about pressure, I want flow.
Yeah.
Volume.
Right?
Because pressure is a restriction to volume. So if you go buy a power washer, it'll tell you 1200 PSI at how many gallons per minute.
Mhm.
You give me 15 gallons a minute, you'll never see me again. There's no reason at all I should, oops, shit.
I don't-
Sorry, I just made a mess over.
You're helping. That's all right.
I don't think.
Well, when you open up, as far as I know, this is through, Tony Kleinschmidt. A 5-gallon pail should be filled, if you fill a pail in a minute and 30 seconds, 5-gallon pail. That's what they set up water flow, with 1 inch. So I remember him coming over, he opened up the pail, opened it up, fill that 5-gallon pail in a minute and 30 seconds, and your flow is correct. But we'll get working on it. I get what you're saying, flow. I have a huge power washer, I know what you're saying. You don't have,
Well, thank you.
if you don't have, the volume of water, then it doesn't work.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you guys will be in here from us, and we'll see what we can come up with. So that would mean there'd be 24 more digging holes down to go from one end to the other to push that through that pipe. Before it gets, I know all the houses are hooked, we'd have to unhook each one and then figure out how to push that stuff through if we could do that, correct?
Yeah,
He would know. I know he's done it before, he's had to. Okay, so we ran into that on Main Street, we had to pull that. There's too much stuff in there. Okay, all right, so that guy who was on the phone was Jason Sebastian, he's in charge of that whole project, along with us. Okay? So we can come up with. Is there any other public comment on anything else?
Mike Monroe,
Go ahead, what'd you say?
Mike Monroe lived on the corner of North Main and Beach. We're kind of like the gateway to Apple Lane. We're torn up, but, I'm understanding that they're not gonna do from Beach to Pardee until 2025.
What's that?
The water main and everything
water
around
main,
there.
yeah.
That's, so I just we want to get, we want a new line put up to the house. We're willing to pay for it, we know we're gonna have to pay for it. But what do I do? How do I make sure that it gets done?
you can either hire your own contractor, or when they're in doing the project, you might be able to talk, them into going all the way into the house. That's kind of up to them, but pretty much anybody that's licensed, or insured, basically.
What
can do it.
address are you?
410 North Main,
410 North Main.
the corner house.
I don't think it'll be a problem when they're doing that. We're gonna top coat the blacktop because
That's what I heard.
it's just a mess, but.
Yeah, you can't ride a 10-speed down there. And is there an end date to what they're doing right now?
There was, we just changed it. But we wanna we had
Is
it
it done
so
by Halloween?
we want to blacktop it next week. But I don't feel comfortable doing that without having these lines flushed out. And I want the people on that road, Apple Lane, to make sure everybody's got the right amount of water coming into their home.
Makes sense.
Volume or pressure. I want to make sure they both have both. I don't want them to take a shower, flush the toilet, and not have no water.
I have no problem with water pressure in my house.
So if you flush the toilet, you're taking a shower, you have no problem.
No problem.
Okay.
We just got new lines put in.
Yeah, well, that's in the house though.
Well, you're tied off of Main Street.
Right, I mean, that's what I want to know for 2025.
Yeah. So isn't that something? So he can flush the toilet and take a shower, not a problem. We put a brand new 8-inch in there and you guys got the same thing.
Thank you.
It's a hair better, but you could, I think it's better, but I couldn't swear to it. I mean, it's not much.
And is it, you don't have discoloration?
Well, yeah.
But it's not.
We got so many filters, it's pathetic.
Man,
If we fill the tub half full today, tomorrow you go in there, you see all the granules laying on the bottom.
Right.
The bottom's not white, it's kind of a yellowish orange. This one.
it'd be nice to have a water filtration plant, it definitely would. You wouldn't have that problem. Then you'd come in and say your teeth are too white from all the chlorine. But,
Well, we put in a whole house water filter, but I can't afford the filters, so it just flows through.
filters are nice,
It'll plug a filter in a week.
I bet.
Now Betty Dodge is the next one north of me,
Oh, okay,
and hers I only change once a quarter. Since Dean passed, I go over and change
okay.
it. And it's once a quarter. And it's pretty nasty by then, but it's still, that's flow. Where ours was once a week.
Okay.
And it's only, 100, not even 100 feet down the road, so,
And you're at 408,
yes.
and your name is?
Gordon Hogan, H-O-G-T.
Okay, got you. Another guy was Main Street Hughes. What was,
Mike Monroe.
Mike, no. Okay,
And I just have one more thing.
Yes.
For Halloween, do you think it would be wise just to shut down Apple Lane, don't let trick or treaters go down there? Cause I know people will probably try to drive down there and they'll turn around, they'll get stuck in the trench and
we can put, as long as you guys are okay with it. and-
I wasn't gonna do anything anyways.
Put a couple of those sandwich signs up.
That would be a good, probably.
I just think it just deter people from trying to drive down there, cause they'll get stuck.
It's
They'll
hard.
turn around.
It's hard enough to drive down there with something,
Right.
you know, a regular vehicle, when
Right.
it's paved, they're, you know, without the construction.
Yeah, and they're gonna, I just have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of people trying to turn around, back into that trench and that.
Those of us that are gonna do anything are planning on doing it somewhere else.
I'm gonna go sit in his driveway.
Why not, you use it all summer?
So is there anything else? I truly apologize, I would have liked to have this one better for the water main. There's nothing more than, like you guys say, you're paid for it, I want your water flow to be right, the sewer to be right, and just, sometimes you don't get it right the first time. But, okay, so we're gonna close public comment at 6:35. All right, anybody have a chance to look at the consent agenda, minutes, accounts payable, revenue, anybody have any question?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Sorry, second.
You're good. Okay, any discussion on it? All right, roll call please.
Yes.
Shoulder? Yes. Yes. Walter? Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, reports. Our favorite Scott Gould attorney, thank you for coming, we appreciate it. What you got?
So, last time we were here, I mentioned the 425 agreement, where effectively we're relinquishing the property back to Leroy Township. That's all in place. We're scheduled for the Ingham County Commissioners on December 4th, which means that the Village of Weberville, and I'll get with Jessica on this, we need to publish for 3 consecutive weeks prior to that date. So we'll have to put notice in the newspaper, November 20th, the 27th, and the week up to the December 4th deadline. Effectively, it'll be putting everyone on notice that this 425 is gonna be relinquished, and if anyone has any objections to it, they'll be able to object to the commissioners. I don't suspect there being any issue whatsoever. In fact, they'll probably be pretty quiet on this matter. White Rose, talked to Jim Wright today. He has reason to believe that he thinks that maybe they're being compliant, that White Rose is being compliant with the certificate of occupancy. He's going to check into it further and let me know. If they're not in compliance with the certificate of occupancy, we will pursue effectively chaining the doors for violation if they have not. So Jim's going to touch base with me the next couple of days about that. Otherwise, we've got everybody on deck ready to go. We've made contact with Hagerman, he's ready to go, so it's just a matter of pulling the trigger if we don't have compliance. Jim Ray also contacted me in regard to 5406 Harris Road. I think it's Harris Road. He secured an order to abate a nuisance on that with the Matthew Chick. So I think that matter is gonna be resolved here shortly.
Say it again, Brooke.
5406 Harris Road.
Okay,
The owner's Matthew Chick, and there was a code enforcement issue. It sounded like there may have been a nuisance by way of debris or junk in the yard.
That road's not in the village.
I was gonna say, I was trying to
Oh.
think about it, I was like, I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Mr. Chick passed away on 145 Detroit Street, and his son took over the house, so we had to send his stuff to his house.
Oh, is that what it is? So
Yeah.
the property's actually in town.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. I just seen it.
Gwenda and Matt Chick, which was my cousins, they passed away, and Matt and Christy was the daughter and the son. And so what you're mentioning is probably debris over there at Detroit Street, where the house is, where nobody's living in it at this time. But Chick's address is Harris Road, over by Bell Road and 52.
Oh, okay.
Actually, between Hazlet and Sherwood Road. Hazlet and Bell Road on 52. That's where Harris Road is.
I see. All right.
So when you kept saying Harris Road, I'm going out of there.
Okay.
But, okay, so there was a debris, something complaint of us.
And it was if I understand, it was a default. No one showed up to defend. There was,
Probably.
so, but either way, the village secured an order to abate the nuisance, so we have the power of the court to go in there and clean it up if they don't comply with the 7 or 14 days.
Does anybody look back there and look and see what kind of mess it is? I mean, there's not much room to have a mess there. It's about, it's the end of the church, mattress and stuff outside.
they got it cleaned up now.
Okay,
That's pretty much it for right now.
well, the other stuff, nobody,
Nothing,
you checked
nothing
on
to
that?
report yet.
They-
Call into probation, wait on a report, for Horde. Nothing on White Roses to the appeal yet either. So, and I've called them, I spoke to them today, so I mean, every council meeting, I'm calling the circuit court saying where we're at. So,
Yeah.
They know I'm waiting.
Okay, and that's all. Me. Well, thank you, appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Okay, all right. Engineering reports. That would be basically much, someone covered it, so. We'll get Aaron Boyer on board too, you get a hold of Aaron. So Aaron Boyer's, PEA group, they'll help Jason Smash to see this long, so. Okay, any advocate reports?
If it's possible, I'd like to share my experiences for my ride along with Deputy Hagerman yesterday.
All right, let's hear it.
So, really honored to have the option to do that, and I would encourage everyone on the council who's been invited to take advantage of it. I certainly learned a lot, not only about Deputy Hagerman, but a newfound respect for the job. I mean, I know we're all concerned about the hours that we're getting from the county sheriff, and I can tell you, he is a very, very busy, hardworking man. I grew up in a community with many more resources, much larger than Weberville, and we had a designated resource officer at the school. We had many people on foot patrol, people dedicated to the community, and Deputy Hagerman had to be all those people in one day. And to see somebody that has the ability to wear all those different hats and to be all those people to everybody was really amazing. So I'm actually really glad that we have him here. And like I said, I would encourage the rest of the council to take advantage, because it put a lot of my questions at ease of, is this the right person? Are we getting the right amount of time, the right amount of service? And I think he's the perfect guy for the job, and there's not a doubt in my mind that we're getting what we paid for. So it was a really cool experience.
It is. It is amazing, the different changes he has to do on every stop that he pulls out. He has to be for pulling
Yep.
somebody over, going to the school.
Yeah, I mean, in one day,
Violence.
there's a huge amount of administrative work that goes into the job. But, being at the school, talking with the admin staff there, I could not believe how much the kids loved to see him. I mean, they were just so excited. He's got an excellent rapport with the students. And I actually had the opportunity to go witness him train at the MSU training facility with another department. I actually got to stand up on a catwalk and watch him with simulated fire clear a building, an active shooter situation. So see the training, couple of traffic stops, help with the school crossing guard as they let out, and it's a lot, but it's cool.
The only thing I add is we got the new 2007 Ford Sterling dump truck out here. We can put it into service. We got this number 7. I got a little logo with a flag with the 7, so it's kind of like a little thing we can put on all of our equipment that we have. And I'm very happy with it. I did drive it back from Buckley, so I made sure if there was any bugs in it. I did put a hole in the exhaust, which they paid for the repair. It's just, driving that far, something that was probably thin, never could see it with the eye, but it finally, so the best of my knowledge, everything works. All the lights work. We got extra lights. We have a stainless salt spreader that will be all stainless, which doesn't corrode and have rust like we do with the one we have. So I'm excited to see how good it's gonna work for our system, but it's got the right engine, it's air brakes, it's not hydraulic, it's pretty cool, it's tall. It definitely is tall, but,
You driven it yet, Shane?
I am not.
I, to be honest with you, I've been kind of hiding it, so. I've been, training them, smoking, I got stickers all over the place to help with the levers and arms, so there were smaller print, so when you're driving, you had to go down and kind of squint to see, so I got a labeler that made it bigger, so I relabeled the console to make sure it was easy to see while you were driving.
So if you're hiding, does that mean you're gonna plow snow this year?
I can. I told them, I said, you guys gotta take really good care of this or I'll ground you. But really excited, very nice piece of equipment. And we have a nice loader to load it with, so we're definitely getting some nice equipment for the guys to have the proper equipment to use for the town of Waterville.
What was the final cost on that?
So we had $67,515, and then there was a couple add-ons with the extra stainless we had with it, but if you total it out, it was $71,500.
That's about what we were figuring. Good.
But I worked with Scott Gould, $67,500 was what we agreed upon here with $15, and there was a couple add-ons he called me on. I said, add-on, which was stainless versus steel to put on the structure of it, and I said, stick with the stainless, I don't need no rust, so. And very, very happy. They're super people. It does say, very limited warranty, but he said, anything happens, let me know. They're very friendly people up there, very nice people. So appreciate everybody letting me do that. I took my father with me. Of course, we went to Claire to Cop Donuts, so that's always I go over there and I have to share this with him. My dad's 84, and I'm like, hey, let's go over here where they're freshly baked over here. Hey, son, they're only $1 over here. They were made yesterday. So I couldn't even get a fresh donut out of the deal, but laugh. And it was fun. We did have a good time doing that. And we had good weather doing it, so I thank everybody for letting me do that for you. Other than that, we can go to new business. So the Waterville Downtown Development Authority TIFA Plan Amendment 2023. So we could accept it with the corrections that we had noted. So we could adopt the new amendment with you gotta vote on the corrections.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Why are we amending this at this time right now?
It's kind of it's a procedure thing that we have to follow. That anytime that the DDA decides to either a project ended or we start doing another project or spending money a different way than our previous plan outlined, is then we have to do a plan amendment in order to present to the village and to the taxpayers what we're working on.
Okay, so what specifically are you doing, are you changing that we need to amend this?
The one page actually shows almost broke down. It gives funding for the Farmers Field Day events. It gives for the Ford building that we have purchased of renovations for that. And then there's a few other items that changed, but that's pretty much it.
And this would help with historical grants that we can do for that building that the DDA purchased, so we can get grants to repair the building also. So this is,
So you are applying for those?
Yeah.
and if anybody, it's easier for the town or a DDA to apply for the grants and repair the building than resell the building to somebody than it is to sell the building and try to help them get the grants.
Yeah.
That we've learned that, just, I'm only saying like maybe this much, but there was a little bit of help more.
Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't increase taxes, it doesn't change anything. It just notifies basically to say what we're currently working on. And because what happened is years ago, when they enacted this, I think it was 2018 when they started requiring these plans, it was because you had a lot of bigger cities like Detroit that DDAs were going quote unquote rogue, which they were spending ungodly amount of money on projects that no one knew what they were doing. And this was basically an opening of transparency to the municipality and the taxpayers of like, this is what the DDAs are doing, this is what they're spending the money they're capturing on, so on and so forth. So, I mean, that's, like I said before, is the White DDA, I've been the chair now for 10 years, and it's probably one of the better DDAs that I've seen, because the business park, the water tower, and even all these would never have came to Weberville if it wasn't for the DDA, because that's what the DDA spent most of its money on in the 90s, was building the business park out, we shouldered the majority of the water tower construction, and then we also, if it wasn't for the water tower and infrastructure out there, then Aldi wouldn't have been able to be there, which we don't capture money from Aldi. But obviously Aldi is a huge tax, tax revenue for the village, for the school, for everyone.
And
So
the township.
that's a huge thing, yeah.
The last page, I mean, it shows you where we, 84, 90, 99, 2007, 19, 21. So it's just something you have to continually, like, 7 of 7. Kind of.
Yeah, and it'll probably be, more than likely, it'll probably be every 2 years, we're probably gonna have to do a plan amendment because,
They
now.
appreciate us doing it too.
Yeah, I mean, now the DD is actually, because of the business park, we are actually, and because of property sales, we actually now have money. Where prior, we really didn't. When I first took over the DDA, we were meeting to figure out what bills we could not pay for a couple of months in order to do it because they were in so much in the red. But with renegotiating bonds, renegotiating grants, and me getting a bunch of grants and stuff, we've actually turned it around where now we have a pretty decent amount of money. So now we're doing the focus that should have happened in the first place, which was obviously restoring downtown. And that started with, we purchased that parking lot, that should be paved in the spring. And then we're doing the Ford building, and then we continue on doing other projects as well.
Any other questions? Okay. I recommend the council to approve the Waterville Downtown Development Authority TIPA plan as amendment of 2023. As presented. Second. Okay, so we don't have a second. Is there more questions the council will understand the Waterville Downtown Development Authority TIPA plan amendment 2023 does?
I know what it does.
Oh,
I know what they're proposing.
okay. Do we need to? How's everybody feel? What do I do? what's in there is the old Ford building, maybe it's throwing the flag up.
For me, it's the revenue sharing agreement.
Okay. And this is quarterly grant for the Southern District, right?
Mhm.
So what would we like to see different on the sharing?
I don't like it, period. And if these funds were critical, there would have been a way found to make it happen in the 3 years we've been kicking the can down the road.
Well, do we have any type of sharing at this point?
With NISA or with village?
It means that.
Well, he says I do 10,000, no, this is something new, already started, we already give them the 20,000. Already have it one time, because your DDA approved that, correct?
Yeah, well, it doesn't, unless if the plan amendment doesn't go through, then it doesn't happen. So, but I mean, that was part of the agreement was, there was a lot of work that was done between DDA and NISA to come up with that revenue sharing agreement. And it does service, because we do have a lot more industrial stuff out in the business park, so there is equipment that they needed. So I think it says that we're covering the tankers that they need in order to make that happen, which I'm sure the tankers will be nice to have, so they're not bombarding the water system if there's ever a problem out there. I think that's what the agreement said.
Is there any act from the council that would like to address any more than that? So we see that the building would be 250, Sam doesn't want the sharing. What do you feel? Is it more of the village, Waterville, streets in the downtown, which some of this I would assume we're gonna be able to get grant money for, but what would be the other?
I'm all about doing Farmers Field Day and the Jeep takeover and everything because it brings more in, but how are we going to present needing a grant for that? I mean, I understand we need to put it in, but we're trying to get money back for it too, and we're asking for a grant for it.
Only a grant for the Ford building to fix up the Ford building.
But isn't this whole amount included in what we're asking for the grant? Or am I misreading that?
You're just, yeah,
Okay, I
it's
just
the
want,
grant.
okay.
Honestly, the grant doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the plan amendment. The grant's a side thing. Because what we're asking for is we're saying we're gonna spend up to $250,000 of the money on the Ford building for renovations. My hope is that we can secure grants, and I've started writing a couple of the grants. There's a lot, the historical grants are very, very time consuming package. But again, even if we don't get grants, the plan amendment allows us to pay for that building to be renovated. We're thinking it's gonna come in probably close to $250,000. If we get a grant, we're gonna be able to do way more cool stuff, and then we won't have to spend that money. But, and part of the thing with the plan that we really need the plan approved tonight is we have to pay, it's gonna be over $80,000 to fix the roof that has failed on that building, and we're trying to get it done before winter, which we got a contractor that can do that. But I can't spend any money until you guys approve it. So that's kind of a necessity right now, and I don't have time for the grant on that because the couple contractors that looked at it basically said if we don't get anything done, we're basically gonna have to buy a bunch of tarps, and that building's gonna have a big blue tarp over it for the whole entire winter. And I don't know if anyone's ever tarped a roof, but it doesn't really work out, especially a flat roof.
Correct, I can understand because of the weight with the snow and
Yeah.
everything, you're gonna look at more damage and
Yeah.
everything. I just thought that that was included, and I just was trying to think, okay, we're asking for a grant, and then if we're going to make money.
No, my hope, as I've done with almost everything with the DDA, if I can find a grant to not spend taxpayers' dollars and get a grant to cover it, I will. And I will do whatever I have to do it. I mean, we got, for instance, the cleanup on the parking lot. I secured us a MUSTA grant for that, which is over $1 million. And that cleanup so far, I think we're at like $300,000 for that cleanup thus far. And that's again, money that taxpayers didn't have to pay for, because we secured that.
Well, if you don't use all that money for that, can it, whatever money's left over, can it be used on the court building?
Oh, no, not for the grant is, unfortunately with
So
grants,
the grant is
it's earmarked for brownfield, repair. I even tried to see if we could get that because there's a fuel oil tank behind that building, they used to heat buildings with it, that we have to pay to remove. And I was trying to see if we could use the grant because that building technically is like, right across the street. And they said, no, Mustin won't allow it. We'd have to fill out another grant application to try to get it for that. And which I'm willing to do. That was a little bit lengthy of the process, but I'm willing to do it. But remove that tank's only, I think, $7,000. And then that's, there's no remediation of soil or anything on that project.
And there's no guarantee of you getting grants for
No,
that building?
no, like I said, right now we have it set for $250,000 is what we think, based on a lot of contractors I met with, is what it would take to generally restore that building so it's all nice inside and the exterior is brought back to the shape it originally was. But my hope is to not do that. But again, the DDA has the revenue and has the actual money to do this without grants.
And then, Deborah, if you look at number 16 on this village revenue sharing, you got like number 16 over that. So we've done it before at 5,000 per year, now it'd be 10,000 per year. But that would mean that the DDA could go up to 20,000 per year back to the village corporate. So it just shows that you'd have more of a
Up to
volume.
25,000.
Right, growing volume back and forth with the DDA versus the village versus using 5,000. So it actually makes it nicer for the village, for that part. So, and then the part with, that the can's been kicked down a long ways with NISA, we finally got it set up, and the long story short is $20,000 a year for the next 3 years, right?
It's approved for the next 2 years.
2 years.
Next 2 years.
Yep.
We plan on pre-approving it for the expiration date. Unless, the only reason we put that is unless our revenues change. If our revenues significantly change where we can't afford it, then obviously we can't afford it. But at this point, I don't see that. We just worry about that because we had, I think it was 2 or 3 years after I took over the DEA, it was, the legislation was pretty heavy against going after DDAs and trying to figure out a way to resolve them. A lot of that came from, again, the DDAs that went rogue and had a lot of issues and corruption that caused that to happen. It's different now, and the transparency thing came into play, so that satisfied that. Because
The DBA paid $20,000 outright. So if we approve this as presented to us right now, the next one for $20,000 would just be approved. It wouldn't have to go through all this stuff that we went through, him and I going back and forth, and Lisa to their meetings, Dorothy being here tonight. So the next year would be set up, and their lawyer and Gormley back and forth, we come up with 20,000 sharing with NISA, which both agreed upon.
So we're pre-approving next year's.
That's at one. So there's one. And then the other one's 250 on the building, not the max at, that's 2. But if we can get grants, which once you have that hold of what we have going on over there, we can get that going. He's got $80,000 right now that we're gonna fork out, and then you always can get retreated back if we do get grants. But at this point, if you want the recommendation to be less than 250, we can do that. But, the revenue sharing between the village and the DDA is a plus. It's old school at 5,000, it's up it to 10, it can go up to 25,000, which is more modern than what we're doing because we're busier.
So if he gets the grants and they're approved, does that money come back to the village?
It should throttle back so you wouldn't have to pay the 250.
No, it doesn't.
All this is showing that he's
It
got
does
a
not come
250.
back to the
It
village.
stays in the DDA. So how DDAs work is we capture funds that would normally be essentially, especially in Weberville, would just go to Lansing. And that's where they would stay. So we capture away from Ingham County, we capture away from Powder Park, we capture away from the airport. This was something they enacted back in the 70s because they realized that downtowns were failing in that the money leaving that area and going to the bigger cities, especially again in Weberville, with us being far east of Ingham, what was happening was that money was going out of that town and it was never coming back. So like, for instance, if tomorrow the DDA ceased to exist in Weberville, the village would get no extra money. They would actually shoulder every bit of the DDA's debt, like any obligations we had, any buildings, anything the village would get, all that money would go to the state and it would be gone. So it would go back to the entities eventually, but from what I've understood is the state would actually have control over it probably for 10 to 20 years before they figured out what to do, like how to reset the TIF district.
What'd you come up with the 250,000 number? So, yeah,
That was based on the contractors. It was, because we want to do storefront windows, so get rid of those residential windows. It was the roof being repaired. It was work that needs to be done inside. The inside's okay, but obviously there's starting to be water damage because of the roof issues. So it's getting that fixed and generally bringing it back up to,
so Sam, if we change that 250, would this be something we could,
Well, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, this is a plan, it's not a budget. Like,
Right.
those numbers are not hard.
Yeah,
to
you guys
fix.
already approved our budget,
Yeah.
so like you already approved us spending the money. This is just, again, a procedure thing to tell the taxpayers and again, to show transparency of what DDA is doing. And that's all it really is. When it's approved, it gets published and like gets put on the website, and then that way, when the treasurer asks what the DDA spends their money on, they can go to the plan and be like, okay, they have a plan of what they're doing with their money. We're not just pulling all the money and not spending it. We're actually doing that.
And that project could not go according to plan, and there could be overages or underages. This is- Again, it's not a budget.
Right, yeah, and if there's overages for that we have to
I mean, that's
amend the plan again to make it work. But we went with 250, it's a pretty extreme
Which one is that?
amount, but again, the DDA has the money to do this. It's not, ever, like I said, when I took over the DDA and we were massively in the red, I vowed to never get back into that position because it was hard for me to get board members to show up. I mean, the first 2 meetings I attended, when I was, the second meeting of me being on DDA, I was asked to be the chairman because the other chairman left and everyone was crying and it was a mess. And we've had a really hard time keeping a quorum and keeping members, but now that, like I said, we've been very frugal with our money, and we've also been very good about minding how we spend money. And I'm actually really excited to see the start of the downtown actually like getting more money back and doing stuff, because, for instance, for the Ford building, especially, if the DDA wasn't doing this, that building would either stayed with the previous owner who wasn't gonna put a dollar into it to the point it was a tear down. Because probably another year, 2 years with that roof, it probably would be completely destroyed. The other part of that is there's not gonna be, no one's gonna buy that building for $150,000 and dump $200,000 into it because that building is probably only worth $200,000. And that's again why the state legislation made the DDAs, was because we can do stuff like this. We can put the money into it so that it makes the building look better. It also improves the downtown and improves, basically the town's image, especially. I mean, that building has been, the parking lot first was one of my biggest thorns in my side forever, because since I was a kid, that parking lot was looking like what it was. And so we're doing that, and like I said, that building is, biggest thing that's always bothered me about the Ford building is the fact that they took out the beautiful storefront windows, which they were single pane, so I understand why they did it for energy efficiency, and they put those little tiny residential windows in there. So our idea is to try to restore it back to the original building. Like I said, I hope that we can do it with grants, but I also know that a lot of the grants that I am working on applying for, or that I have applied for, a couple of them require us to have capital investment as well. So like they'll give us 80 if we put in like 20, stuff like that, they'll do a match.
And you have that.
So, yeah, I applied for before. Yeah, I mean, some of these grants won't give it, won't actually give, I think the one is 2024, one of them is 2025, which again, they will, both of those grants will actually pay back any expenses that we pay ahead of time. I'm really hoping the historical grant, because the historical grant would give us close to $1 million for that building, which that would be awesome.
Well, our options are more than it is to let it stay vacant, so.
Yeah.
And I like the historical look of the building to stay in Loverville. I don't want it to be torn down and put something wrong.
I agree with that.
I think we can do it, you know, baby steps, but I'm glad we're able to do it and want to save our downtown. I don't want the village of Waterville to be out at the highway because we need to continue to make our downtown look nice. Bring them downtown. So is our council ready again to see if we can make a motion on this?
There was a motion on the table.
Yeah, so.
I pulled it back. I pulled it back for conversation, right, Scott? Pulled it
I
back.
agree. A new motion has to be presented.
Yep, enough time went by, a new motion has to be presented, so.
All right, well then I will make a motion to approve the 2023 WDDA TIF plan amendment as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Schulte.
No.
Schoenberg. Yes. Stanfield.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, number 2, this one's really lovely, TH Effort Industrial Park Pump. These are the same pumps that we have, this was an old pump that we had.
Yeah, this is an original pump, that lift station's back from late 90s, early 2000s.
This lift station's for
The industrial park,
the sewer.
yes, the sewer.
What are we doing now to make it work? Is it,
There's 2 pumps in there.
there's 2 pumps.
Yeah, you have a lead pump and a lag pump. Right now, it's just running on 1 pump.
So the pump that's running on now, is that one newer than the other one, correct?
No,
No?
no,
I remember being out there, some of these, okay.
but
They'll replace the ones that we already, there's a couple of them out there replaced with the newer style, haven't we?
not that one.
Okay.
Those are, the new pumps are homeless. The old pumps, they ran into problems with, they were the same pumps that we had on the water tower lift station and the Party Road lift station. But it turned out to be, it was more to have them repaired and fixed than it was to just buy a new pump. So
Okay.
that's why we went with this quote to have a new homo pump put in.
So this lift station for the council, there's 2 pumps in there, this one's running all the time. Before, did they run back and forth and share each other, or did you just always have one back on?
Yeah, they alternate lead and lag.
Okay,
When one's running lead, the other runs lag, and then one,
and now that one's doing all of it.
right.
So I recommended to the council that we have to have TH Effort Industrial Park Pump not to exceed $12,920 to be replaced.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Schulte.
Yes.
Schoenberg. Yes. Stanfield.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Okay, NGFOA Financing Management of Budgeting Session, $100. That is,
This is the class.
that's for you, is it on
Yeah.
class?
It's in person actually.
Oh, in
I think
person.
it's with the, Lord Opus. Opus Conference Center. Yeah.
So you got plus mileage?
Mm-hmm. It'll be the MDFOA number, $20 cheaper.
There you go. Okay, recommend the council to have Jessica Cooch be able to go to the MGFOA Financial Management and Budgeting Session, $100 plus mileage for their car.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, you gonna need anything for lunch or they're gonna slide their lunch?
No, if they don't always come back here, it's on that all day.
Okay, roll call please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg. Yes. Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter, Hitchcock.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. So that'll give you a license for management, just kind of keep you boosted or what?
And just trying to do the execution.
Okay. Is there anything else that we want to bring to anybody else's attention? Josh Rocky, thank you for continuing to help us on the path of the DDA collaborating with the Village of Weberville.
Absolutely.
As we all know, the Village of Weberville, the council people get paid, but the DDA is completely volunteer. So Josh Rocky spends a lot of his volunteer time in his town. Is anybody in the audience, Dorothy, anybody have any other questions?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
did we get our leaf machine back?
We did. Yes, we did. It was only gone 2 days.
Okay. And has the village been reimbursed for the well house yet off of Summit Street?
We got reimbursed by MML. That's funny, I just had that up today. So MML reimbursed us for it. We are out $250 still, correct? Right. And her insurance, we don't know. She had no insurance. She had no driver's license. She had no registration. Unless you know any more than I do. Oh, and then now our insurance paid for it, and we paid $250 deductible. And today would have been a beautiful day to paint, but we're gonna get that painted before the snow's flying, or when the snow is flying, we'll be there.
But we've been reimbursed for that $9,000?
From our insurance company, MML. So they're gonna have to go after,
Right, okay.
yeah, it's like a little over 10,000. So the town where we got paid by our insurance company, the person that did it, not paid $1.
Right.
And that person got operating while intoxicated. Does anybody else know any more than that? That happened. I'm happy the way the guy fixed it. I think it turned out nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I haven't gone over and looked at it, but from my house,
Okay, all right. Thank you all for coming again, and thank you from Lisa, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it takes a lot of time and effort. I do. Okay, do I have anybody for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:15.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Village Board of